So this is chapter 2, review for the final. So again, I'm only going to be doing one problem from each slide. There's not a lot of room here, so I might move back up there. But first it's asking for what's the line that's perpendicular. So perpendicular to this, that goes to this point. First thing you have to do is rewrite this problem so that it's in y equals format. So I have to rewrite this in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to first subtract the 2x over. So I'm going to have 4y is equal to negative 2x plus 15 divided by 4. You have to divide each term by 4. So now this equation gives me negative 1/2 x plus 15/4. Now, when I'm actually asking for the line that's perpendicular to this, I don't really care about the y-intercept. I'm looking at my slope. My slope in this equation is negative 1/2. That means my perpendicular, remember that's the symbol for perpendicular, my perpendicular slope is opposite reciprocal to that. So opposite of that will be a positive. Reciprocal of that is 2 over 1 or just equal to 2. Now we use our point slope form. So here's our point. We solve this. We have to plug this in because we want our answer in slope-intercept form. So we have y minus my y1 is negative 3 equals my slope. So perpendicular to that is 2x minus x1. And I solve this. So first, this becomes plus plus. So I have y plus 3 is equal to, I have to distribute this 2. So 2x minus 10, and then subtract 3 from both sides. So my overall answer is y is equal to 2x minus 13. That's the first review. The second review, I'm going to do both of the questions. Second review question, since this is an absolute value question, my graph should look like a V. So I don't have this, but on the final, we will give you actual graphs. So first I'm going to look for my vertex. My vertex here, remember inside the parent function is always opposite, so this would be a negative 1, and then outside the parent function is 3. My slope here, my A value is equal to 1. Remember, you can still find this on your graphing calculator. You could graph this if you wish to. So I could go to my y equals, I'm going to clear that out. I'm going to go to math, and if I go to num, ABS is absolute value. So I can type in my x plus 1, arrow over, minus 3. This is where you could get your table if you so choose to, and then plot your points. So first plot your points. Now I'm looking at this right here. There's a line here, so that means when I draw my line on my or on my grid, this should be solid. Again, it's a V because of my absolute values lines, and it says y is less than, so y can be less than that, means I'm going to shade below the graph. So that would be my answer for this one. Here, when I graph this inequality, I have my slope and I have my y-intercept. So here when I graph it, you could still plug it into your graphing calculator if you so wish to. 3, 4, 5. My y-intercept is at negative 5. My slope, that's a positive 3. 1, 2, 3 over 1. I can also go again. I'm going to go again. 1, 2, 3 over 1. Now there is no line, so this one's going to be dotted. This says y is larger than, so you shade above the line. For my next review, kind of the opposite of what we just did. Now I have to write the equation. So if it's a line, I want to look for my y-intercept. So my y-intercept here, my b, is equal to 1, and my slope. I know it's hard to see, but here's the other points. If on the final you're not sure where your next 2 points are, you can always come and ask me. That's a question I can help you find if you're not sure the points are. So I'm finding my slope. My slope is a rise of 1, 2, 3. So up 3 over 2. So my slope is up 3 over 2. So when I'm writing this equation, I'm not going to write my inequality symbol yet. It's y equals mx plus b. So that's where that m came from your slope. The b came from the y-intercept. Now when I'm looking at this, it's shaded above the graph. Since it's shaded above the graph, y is greater than. And this line is dotted, so there's no line below. Now, when you're dealing with your absolute value, you have to figure out what your slope is, or your vertex is first. I know it's hard to see, but these are actually counting by one. So 3, -4, so that's my slope, is 3, -4. And then when you figure out your A, it's always your vertex with your first point on the right. So this first point on the right. So in this case, this is movement of 1, even though it looks like a bunch of small boxes, but this is a movement of 3 to 4. So this first point on the right, my rise is 1, my run is 1. So my A value is equal to 1. So now, same thing, I'm going to leave a space here. 1 is my A value. My vertex, remember, that's always opposite, so this is going to be -3. And then I move down 4, so it would be -4 on the outside. Here, this is shaded below the V. It's below the V, so it's less than. This is a solid line, so it's or equal to. Next question. You can almost guarantee that this will be on the final. So there's a lot of different things going on this. This is a lot of review from your algebra whenever you had algebra. Yeah. So the first thing we have to have is my slope formula right here. So it's my y2, so it does not matter which one you label as y1, y2. So a lot of people like to pick the second one. So y2 minus y1 over, so since -1 went first, 7 has to go first on the bottom. 7 minus -2. So if I simplify this, this becomes 3 over 9, which is 1/3. So my m is equal to 1/3. So when you're writing the equation of the line, you have to rewrite it in the format y equals mx plus b. This is what my final answer should look like. But we have to use my point slope form because we have the slope and we have a point. It does not matter which point we use. Both of them should work. I'm going to use this first one just because no rhyme or reason. So I'm going to have y minus y1, using this point, is equal to my slope, x minus x1. This becomes plus, and plus, plus. So I'm going to distribute this 1/3 first. So they have y plus 4 is equal to 1/3 x. 1/3 times 2 is 2/3. And now I have to subtract 4. A lot of times people are not good with subtracting fractions. In your calculator, what you could do is 2/3, 2 divided by 3 minus 4, and then go to math and change it to a fraction. So this would be a negative 10/3. And that right there is my final answer for that one. And the last review question that we're going to do, find the intercepts and graph. Now, if I say find the intercepts and you don't find the intercepts, but the graph is correct, you do not get full credit. Finding the intercepts, meaning you have to plug 0 in for x and figure out what y is. You have to plug 0 in for y and figure out what x is. These are the intercepts. So I'm going to do those two things. So first I'm going to plug 0 in for x. So 2 times 0 plus 6y is equal to -24. So I'm looking for what y is equal to, divide by 6. Y would be equal to -4. So this is one intercept. Now I do the same thing, except now I plug 0 in for y. So 2x plus 6 times 0 equals -24. 2x equals -24 divided by 2. X is equal to -12. Now it says find the intercepts and graph. So now I have to graph it. I'm going to use that line as my graph. So 0 and then -4 goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your y. Y moves up and down. -12 first. That means I have to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Look at me. I know how to count. And now since I have the 2 points, I can graph it. And there you have it. Chapter 2 review. Have a great, grand, wonderful day.